Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are watching from. It's Asim again, and I hope on our way to building humanity, we keep on supporting each other as you all know that it is an iron that sharpens an iron, and I also want to believe that as human beings we need to keep sharpening each other. And as a goal for MCA, SMI, we are here to make sure we build an emotionally intelligent person, a responsible one, and someone who is purpose driven. So that's why we come with these episodes. But today is a little bit special, and being a Holy Thursday for Christians, brothers and sisters, I also wanted to chip in a unique way so that we can also share. I was intrigued by some colleague of mine yesterday who asked me about life issues, and now that we are going to see how life became a challenge even to our Lord Jesus Christ. Actually, if you didn't know, today is the day he washed his disciples' feet. We did John 13, something like that. And it's from that background that I want to draw our topic for today. What is life? And again, like somebody asked me the other time, I was challenged to find out what makes us human. And this I'm going to say it's a researched kind of analysis. And I'm going to read for you this time because somebody told me it's one of my comments in a video that I share where somebody says you need to make sure you have a blackboard and a chalk or a marker and write for us so that we can learn because we need this information. So I may not be wrong if I say let me read for you so that wherever I share they can be a rubber stamp in our minds because we need it. Now, here in Uganda, we've been saddened by a death of 4 kids in the nursery primary in Entebbe. May their souls rest in peace. But that was done by humanity. Now we are going to see, as Christians, we are going to see Jesus being betrayed and crucified by human beings. And here we are today having a question about life and what makes us life, what makes us humans. That was the question, how some of my colleagues phrased it, that I talk about it. What makes us human? And here we go. But before that, to chip in as far as this whole Easter season is concerned, I want us to reflect on why Jesus, like on this day, washed his disciples' feet. I think one, he was showing us how the level of humility that we need to show to each other, and maybe the servant leadership that he was, and maybe the self-sacrifice that we need to do as we live with each other, and maybe someone told me that it was portraying the upside down of God's kingdom, how God came all the way from up to down to clean his people, to serve his people. Cleaning or cleansing could be saving. I won't go that deep, I'm not a surgeon or a priest. So let me get back to what I know best. My name is Alex, in Visiwe, most known as a human engineer. We can even add that I'm a mindset diagon. We call it a mindset diagnostician. Don't forget that. Somebody who diagnoses how minds really affect humanity. What makes us human? That is number one. The other B is what is life? I said something back that life is the opportunity, or it is an opportunity to create meaning. I don't know whether you still remember that. But again, if I come to the question that I'm going to share on today, what makes us human beings? So our topic for today, what I needed to share specifically is on this question that my colleague asked me, and it kept on eating me away. what makes us human. And I wrote something down which I need to share. I'm actually going to read one word by word. It's a few notes. I think we get something. Because I found out that human beings, at times we seem not to know who we are, and at times we go below the animals kind of behavior that we do in society. It tells that at times we don't know how powerful we are as human beings. So let me read for you. I put some few questions on that very topic. What makes us human? I asked, what makes us human? How is a human being different from the rest of the creatures? How can human beings live better if they knew how powerful they are? Because I do all this having a connection with what we are here to spread to humanity, that human beings, we are, like they say, their God is reflection. We should be here to reflect God. But let me just read for you. Human beings are unique because we not only live, we also reflect on life. We don't only live, we reflect on life. Mark that word. Animals can eat, move, protect themselves, we all know that, and even show emotion, but human beings can ask deep questions. As I read you these things, see how they relate with your daily life, with my daily life. I couldn't sleep before I got this, because I thought we could use it somewhere, in our homes, in our offices, in our societies. The other time I had a colleague, we were having lunch, and he tells me, we are two, and he told us that, I wonder, I don't know what's with human beings. So he said that people who seem to be knowing don't want to do things they know. If somebody is knowledgeable, he doesn't want to do things. If somebody doesn't know, that one we can forgive. But at times we know things and we don't act on them. That's why I said we need to bring this to light, so that I see if we can help out myself and my family and my nation and my friends and you, everybody. That we can ask deep questions like, why am I here? What is right or wrong? What kind of life should I build? That is the essence of how human beings are different from the other creatures. What kind of life should I build? This ability to think deeply, imagine the future, make moral choices, create systems, and intentionally change ourselves is one of the greatest differences between humans and the rest of the creation. Now, if I pause there, I can ask you, start thinking on how you're acting that actually seems not human enough. Somebody stands there and they're like, for me, I don't know what to do. And that's not good. It's not good. Right? So, think about that. Think about that. That the human being should get stuck. Yes, we can get stuck, but you have the ability to unstuck yourself. As I continue to preach, to teach. It's not teaching, but actually sharing. And the other day somebody told me, but you share your things, they're beautiful, and there are some jokes. You need to joke. At times I feel that when people are told the truth, we call it the bitter truth directly, they seem to go away. But if you bring in, I was told that if you want to tell the king that they are naked, you don't come direct and say, hey, king, you are naked. You have to be a joker sometimes, make sure you deliver the information. So, but that's it. So let me read for you and you listen. So, for example, a bird can build a nest by instinct, but a human can build a home, design a city, write laws, compose music, create technology, and also decide whether, mark that, we can decide whether to use all those things for good or for harm. I can't explain no more, because you know how you put things here, but purposely for either evil or wrongdoing, or you sleep less to do evil. And that's how far a human being can be powerful as far as using our minds and capacity is concerned. I rather we use that for good. Now, what makes us truly human are not just intelligence. What makes us truly human is not just intelligence, but also self-awareness, conscience, purpose, creativity, and the power to choose. Now, the power to choose, I need you to underline that, because that is the biggie. The power to choose. You chose to listen to me, I chose to speak to you. You choose to switch off, you choose to proceed, you choose to learn, you choose not to learn or give it a fear. That is what we're talking about. This is what really makes us human. We are going to find out that you can choose to have peace amidst war or chaos. And this is all we need. You can choose to have peace of mind. Let's go. Human beings are different from other creatures because we have the ability to transform both our inner world and the world around us. I'm about to finish the reading, and then we go to face-to-face talk. That's in a few minutes. So, many creatures survive by instinct. You know that. But humans can rise above instinct through discipline, wisdom, learning, and vision. Let me give you an example. A lion may be strong, but it cannot become morally better. A tree can grow, but it cannot decide its character. Underline that. A dog can be royal, but it cannot create a national vision. People do create national visions. Or repent and build a broken life. No dog can do that. Human beings can fail. Mark that. Human beings, we can fail. Don't fail. You can reflect, learn, forgive, rebuild, lead, and leave a legacy. For example, let me give you another example. I put here. A person born in poverty can become a teacher, a reformer, or a national leader through mindset. I like this one. You can now recall what we're talking about. Through mindset, knowledge, and perseverance. That's why I'm persevering, to make sure we all have something to share. And now this one, a corrupt public servant. And I'm going to find a day and talk about this one, corrupt, because I've been having a deep look on what it means. Corruption is not about nobody doing corruption, the one they think is corruption, but we are ending this, we're talking about the capitalistic kind of desires that people we have. At times we need more car, we need more house, we need more money, and we run into becoming corrupt somehow. But we pray we just reduce that so that society can have development as a whole. Now, a corrupt public servant can choose integrity and become a model of service. I wrote somewhere that I was writing something to do with mindset and public service delivery, and I stated it categorically that service begins in the mind before it goes in the office. I don't want to go that side, we can sleep here. But another example, a fearful young man or young person can develop confidence and become a voice that changes a community. That's what we are trying to do. That's why a fearful husband or spouse or another spouse can be strong enough to develop his family, or his or her workplace, or his or her nation, or society. That's how far strong we are as a human being. I am as a human being. So this means that human beings are not only creatures of biology, eyes and tails and the ones we consider to be, this is human, this is a tree, this is a chicken, this is a goat or elephant. They cease to be just human beings of biology, they are also creatures of potential, meaning, and destiny. Call it destiny, whatever you want to call it. Human beings are not only creatures of biology, they are also creatures of potential. Think about that, meaning and destiny. If human beings are truly understood how powerful they are, many would live with greater ownership. Those are some of the pillars that we forward, we parade as we build SMI, that we need to have a mindset of ownership, responsibility, and purpose. And in that sense, we hope that much suffering in life comes. We know, we don't just hope. We know that much suffering in life comes from not knowing that. Just say it. Much suffering in life comes from people living below their full, either true capacity and thinking they are helpless, acting without vision, or waiting for some kind of help from somebody else. We just say that a tree cannot know that this place is no good, let me jump to another one. It is a tree stand. Human being, with the sharing we are doing now, you should be able to know that if you are acting weird, you can change, flip that, owing to the power that you have within you. And God given, maybe if you want, instead of helping for others to come, okay, look for a way to attract others to come and help you, but don't just sit idle and say, somebody get me some aid. And even if they get you the aid, you don't use it well. So you cease to really be a full human being. We cease, me inclusive. But we are here, we are just almost finishing. But when a person understands that they can shape their thoughts, habits, decisions, relationships, and contribute to society, life begins to change. And change is the only factor of life that we already know that it is constant. For example, a student who believes, let's go to students now, remove a student and put yourself. A student who believes I'm there may give up. A businessman, a leader, a husband, a child who believes I'm down, they give up. But once they understand the power of discipline, effort, learning, and self-belief, they can excel. You can excel. I can excel if I insist now that I can now audibly say something and people get some value from it. You can excel in whatever you're doing or you're thinking to do. So another example is that if a community says that government has failed, community saying that government has failed us may remain stuck. But if people realize they are poor, or people, if they realize their power to organize, their power to lead, their power to solve local problems, transformation begins. We're talking about national transformation. All programs are loaded in us, especially Ghana's national transformation. I share with some friends who talked about 2026, 2040, we need to get away from $300 million to 500, so that we can reach an upper income, middle income state. That is transformation we talk about. So at your level, transformation, define it your own way. So if we say that we can start to organize, lead, and solve local problems, and then transformation begins, that's how far we can prove that that's what makes us human beings. And maybe a few lines and we finish. A public official who sees their work as just a job may become lazy, but when they realize they carry the power to improve real lives, they serve with excellence. In short, human beings live better when they understand that they do not merely exist, but when they understand that they are designed to think, choose, create, influence, and transform life. That's when you start to become a human being, and that's when you can be differentiated from a stone, a bird, a snake, an insect, name it, a fly, or just a laptop, or a cup of tea like this. You can't be something that doesn't breathe. So it's really been a long, I know it's now coming long, I need to cut it short until next time, but I remain yours, the human engineer, a mindset diagnostician. I like that word. I need to find out, to really see through things and see what kind of mindsets bring out this one. You shudder, I've always talked about this, you shudder at the level of domestic violence. inshallah at the level of a service that is delivered to the public. But all this, I have a feeling that it can become clean, it can become to an end, or can be above average if we worked on our mind. Just like I said that service begins in the mind before it reaches office. I thank you very much, and I can't go no further. And I wish you all the best. Happy Easter Festive season. Bye for now.